أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. The chair lady, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are gathering this evening for one of the most important subjects that really we have to be concerned with and look seriously about it. And that is to raise awareness in our community regarding disability. It is important because we try to tackle this from three different angles. The first one is when Allah Almighty, if someone afflicted by disability, Allah Almighty will compensate that by sharpening another sense which can help the person to achieve and to make progress. Yes, for example, we know in the history of Muslim communities that those who lost their sight, they were born without this ability, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthened other senses to help them with achieving the highest level of education and whatever, possibilities for everybody. Here I mentioned two examples. One about Dr. Taha Hussein. In Arabic is called Amid al-Adab al-Arabi, the greatest outstanding figure in the Arabic literature, who supervised many PhD dissertations in Cairo, taught in many universities about Arabic literature and related subjects. He was blind. And of course, he was not born blind. He lost his sight when he was only 4 years old, but still was one of the examples of disabled people who managed to achieve highest level. In the contemporary time, we come to know about someone from Australia in the name of Nick Vujicic. I think most of you have heard of him. He was born without arms, without legs. And you can imagine that if someone is born like that, a severe disability, no arms, so how to work, how to write, how to function without hands, without arms, and without legs, how can one move and walk and compete with others? The only thing I saw from the film that only one big toe in the end of his foot was there, which helped him with doing many things. If you go to YouTube and search for Nick Vujicic, you see how the achievements there. But the title is very, very important. No arms, no legs, no worries. Which means that no despair, not to give up hope. And that is not only for disabled, it is a lesson for every person in Islam. This is first angle that we are talking about, that when someone has disability, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will compensate them with something else to cope and to do their work, to achieve the highest possible ways. The second point, brothers and sisters, that we read in the list of major sins. We know, according to the Holy Quran, there are sins that are classified to be major and some which are less. Al-Kaba'ir and Al-Saghair. And when you talk, for example, in any book of fatwa regarding the mujtahid whom you want to follow in taqleed, he must be adil, and by adala, they define him to stick to all the rulings of Sharia and avoid all the prohibited acts, the major sins. So, for example, if you refer to Minhaj al-Salihin of Marhum Ayatollah Sayyid Muhsin al-Hakim, then Ayatollah Sayyid Abu Qasim al-Khoi, and now according to Ayatollah Sistani and many others, in the first volume of Minhaj al-Salihin, there is a list of 52 prohibited acts are calling and falling under the title of Al-Kaba'ir, the major sins. The technical term is from the Quran. In tajtanibu kaba'ira ma tunhawna anhu, and that is the title for the major sins. All right? One of the major sins mentioned on that list is to have despair, to lose hope, to think that's it. Since I am afflicted with disability, I have this, so all clothes of progress and achievement are closed in my face. This is wrong. And if you see in the Quran, Al-Ya'su min rawhillah, this is the title of Al-Kaba'ir, which we call it despair. So don't lose hope at all. And by this, of course, you can achieve many, many things. Remember, and this is for those brothers and sisters who are working with Amanati, and to raise awareness in the community regarding disability or disabilities regarding the Muslim communities, okay, that we have to know that if you have willpower, if you think that still you can do it, of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you. Tawfiq is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we need the combination of both Tawfiq and your hard work. Imam Rida alayhi salam, by the way, about whose birth anniversary we are celebrating today, 11th of Dhul Qa'dah, he says, من سأل الله التوفيق ولم يجتهد فقد استهزأ بنفسه. Those who ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them ability and tawfiq without making a real and hard work and effort, they are fooling on themselves. They are doing something illogical and present themselves to other people to be fooled. So this is what we knew, the combination of both we needed. You have willpower, you work very hard, you do whatever you can, you try to find the whatever possible ways to achieve your goals, but at the same time, you can't be independent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help. Why? Because in every daily prayer, you say what? بِحَوْلِ اللَّهِ وَقُوَّتِهِ أَقُومُ وَأَقْعُدُ. So although in every prayer you stand up, you sit down, go for prostration, ruku', but all these activities, don't think that you are doing it. So if the normal activity of walking, standing, sitting is not possible according to Quranic theology without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assistance, so that's why we say بِحَوْلِ اللَّهِ وَقُوَّتِهِ أَقُومُ وَأَقْعُدُ. So this is my second point, to discuss it in very, concise talk to you. And the third one is one of the most important principles in Islam regarding how to treat other fellow members of the society. And that is to work very hard to assist others, to care for others. And in this respect, we see that Imam Ali alayhi salam in Nahj al-Balagha tells us, من كفارات الذنوب العظام إغاثة الملهوف وكشف الكرب عن المكروبين. Remember it. من كفارات الذنوب العظام. Part of the expiations of great and major sins. Because you know that anyone who is, we are not infallible, we are all fallible. So, when we commit sin, either by mistake or whatever led to that, all right? We had to expiate. We have to pick a kafara for it. We have to make it good. Yes? And Imam Ali alayhi salam tells us one of the, or on the top list of the expiations for major sins is إغاثة الملهوف وكشف الكرب عن المكروبين, to assist the needy, to remove the difficulties and calamities from who are affected by something nasty, something very, very bad that affects their life. So, to summarize the whole theme of this gathering, and I'm sure that, mashallah, all other speakers will contribute to enriching this idea, and at the same time, I invite everybody to help and to cooperate with this organization of Amanati. And by that, we do two things: obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and satisfy ourselves that how we care for others. And this caring for others goes to that level that our Imams alayhi salam taught us, وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. Ithar means to put the needs of others prior to your own needs. And that is what we see it in the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Lady Fatima al-Zahra, Al-Hasan wal-Hussein, and the Imams. And we should learn with them, learn from them. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. We thank Ayatollah Dr. S Fadhil Milani for that excellent speech. A very important point, first of all, is if Allah takes one thing from us, this is a life lesson whether someone has a disability or not. If Allah takes one thing from us, He will compensate with something else, inshallah. And a final message, do not despair. And one important factor that everyone with disability may sometimes feel, I believe, that religion can often provide a comfort for those with a disability and those who have a child with disability, because when we read the hadith, when we read our history, when we read our textbooks, we see that Allah truly does compensate in this world and the hereafter. And these children with a disability, these children that we see and that become adults, they will become the gateway for many of these parents. All their struggles, all their late nights, they will become the gateway to heaven for their parents.